evening. Today on Home Gardens what we're doing is constructing this walk-in greenhouse from Allotments garden. The dimensions are 120 centimetres times 123 centimetres by 93 centimetres by 182 centimetres height, so that should be good. So the structure is here and the cover is here, and I was in fact given this, so that's even better. And it's got staging in it as well, and this is going to be an integral part of the melon project, so hopefully it will be very good indeed. Not today for this, so what I'll do is I'll sit around and figure it out how to do it, and then I'll construct it, and then we'll do a video. And Dan is actually putting it away, which I'm quite surprised about, to be honest. So what we're going to do, instead of constructing the secondary polytunnel, we are going to get this no-dig bed ready and get it set. So first thing I'm going to put in probably is these lovely cucumber plants, variety Marketmore. Now, if you've been following my channel for a while, you may remember the ones that I initially set got eaten by the mice, so had to germinate these and grow them on inside, and they've done very well indeed. Only about 2 weeks probably or so, something like that, and you can see just how nice they look. So let's get the growing medium nicely prepared for it. Got this growing medium here, and you can see it's steaming. Look at that. And what I've got on here at the moment is there's a lot of grass here, grass cuttings, and I've also got some Vital Earth organic compost on there. So I want to enrich this soil. As I've spoken about in the previous video, the soil here on this patch is rather poor, so I want to get it enriched. I did grow some stuff in it last year, it did okay, but this year I want it to be a lot better, so I'm adding some good nutrients to it in the form of grass cuttings. Now I did think of putting some horse manure in there, but it might the stink might piss the wife off, so could be a form of amusement, but I'm not going to do that probably yet. So what I'm going to do is just keep it relatively hygienic stuff I'm putting in here. So let's spread this grass about. A lot of composted grass here already, but this grass here really has gone all clumpy. Doesn't matter because it'll all break down eventually, and even if it's not an amazing growing medium this year, it will be in subsequent years, because I always say about what was that? Oh, strange things you find. Yeah, you know, building your soil is it's a long-term project, a bit like building a house. So just planning this, you can see all this steam coming up here. Look at that. That. And also what I've done here is any failed, or a lot of failed projects that I've grown, and the compost, the stuff in the compost didn't germinate, I've chucked that on here as well. You don't need to be too specific with this really. And as you can see, this bay is about excusez-moi, it's about 3 metres wide by 1 metre and a bit deep, so getting this of course can be a good thing, good way of getting rid of your grass cuttings in a way that's beneficial for yourself and the environment. That's looking better, isn't it? More like resembling more of a shape. So let's think, what can we do? So let's spread some of this. Let me get it up the right way. There you go, it's just basic multi-purpose compost. This came from Homebase. Ultimately I'd rather be extracting this from my own compost bins, but I don't have enough of it at the moment, so what I'm doing is just using this. But by next year I should have plenty in the compost bins around there. I should have loads to use. So I'm going to put this in And a lot of using this is to give the plant something to sit in, and I'm also giving you guys examples of stuff, growing materials that are relatively easy for you to source, which a lot of this is about, you know, easiness really. We'll chuck it all on there, get the lid off, say the lid off, get the packet open, it's more accurate, so we get that spread on there. I mean, you can get compost from loads of places. No, you can get it from B&Q, Homebase, Lidl's, Aldi's, garden centres, internet. You know, no shortage of places to get it from. I'm just using this one because I've generally always had good results with this before. Look at that. Let's spread it about a bit. Get off you. And what I'll do as the season progresses is I will proceed to just chuck stuff on the top and allow that to work its way in. Because ultimately this will all compost down. So the no dig method is definitely worth looking into. And of course, yes, this example I'm currently working on, I have had to go out and purchase some multi-purpose compost, but at the same time, plan yourself ahead, you can generate your own compost and you can use that, so it can be a very cost effective way of gardening, and you're not damaging the soil structure so much by digging it, and it's something that I just like the idea of. Get it all nice. Get it all nice. And it'll also give the plant something to sit in. So yeah, what I'm doing now with the watering can, which is an amazing thing because it's stuck up with sellotape to that point there. So it's quite nifty actually in its own way. So what we're going to do is just get a little bit of water on there in order to get it ready for plunging in some lovely plants. So here we are in Dan's Wild Kingdom. I am going to start with runner beans, and what we're going to use is the variety Scarlet Emperor. Someone has mentioned about my marigolds, and they didn't all germinate, which you wouldn't expect, but the ones that have, a lot of them, well, some of them now, are starting to produce what will be flowers soon, so I'm very happy about that. And someone asked me where I got my marigold seeds from, and I think it was they were Carter's seeds, which came from, I think it's either Pound Stretcher or Savers, and they really were cheap as chips, so very good there. And these marigolds are very good as well, as are these. So don't expect them all to germinate with marigolds, which is one reason why I set so many. So I'm very happy with how they look. But today is not so much about marigolds, it's about vegetables. So let's plant these. So runner beans, Scarlet Emperor, a few of those, and in the middle there, some Marketmore outside cucumbers. See, that's the benefit of keeping your tags. Well, that's wearing off in places. You keep your tag, you know what you're growing, which is particularly good for if you let them produce seed and then you cultivate your own seeds for the following year. So that's a very good thing. So let's get these out. So all nice and healthy. All looking pretty good. Nice colour. A few slug holes there, but not the end of the world. And I find it's very satisfying to grow your plants from seed. Of course you can buy them, and yeah, you can do that, but ultimately generally it will work out more expensive, and it's not, I don't think it's as satisfying. But of course, if it's a case of either buy them or don't grow your own food, then buy them. So what we're going to do Just make a little hole here and simply proceed to just put them in like that. I've got some canes down the allotment which I'm going to put up to allow them to grow up the canes, or I might even make like a wooden structure for them to climb up, but at the moment it's not the end of the world. So I'm going to put them in like that. Strange noise. I'm going to put them in here. Large. I think I've got in the other bay I've got runner bean variety best of all. So this with the Scarlet Emperor, and there is another variety in there as well. I forgot the name. I might find some of them, put some of them in somewhere. Interestingly, it's been a bit nippy overnight, about 6 degrees C. So it's not frost, but I am keeping an eye on it. And you guys have seen my frost prevention or frost damage prevention method of sticking a growing bucket over my plants, but it does work if it happens, or at least it does for me. I think these are going to do quite well. One thing you can do with runner beans is at the end of the year, when the plants, you know, they all get frosted off and die after your crop, you can then proceed to dig a hole and bury the plant. It contains a lot of nitrogen, so you can do that if you wish. What have we got here? Got some here as well. Let's get these out. It's not the most delicate way of getting them out, but because I've got so many, I'm not massively fussed. Okay. Put them in like that. Some more spaces to put them in. There's a good amount in there, and what I'll proceed to do, I might even set them a little bit thicker soon, and I'm going to get some canes, as I stated, or something to grow them up, and I'm going to have my runner beans at the back and other things at the front, because obviously the runner beans are going to grow up, so I want things that are high at the back and lower at the front to let the so obviously if you put high things at the front, the sun is not going to get through, and it won't help the other plants. So, starting on the Marketmore cucumbers. Now, as you can see, they're in a pansy. Well, there were pansies in here. I collect plant pots from people because 9 times out of 10 they just sling them away. So I take them and recycle them for the following year for growing plants in. So that's one thing I do. But look at that. Quite a nice root structure there. And cucumbers, if you really want to get into growing cucumbers, now I have got some ones that you grow up canes, some indoor cucumbers, one that would go in a polytunnel or a greenhouse. I forget the variety, I think it's Telegraph or something along those lines. You'll see them in a following episode. But if you want to get into sort of the early stage of growing cucumbers, this variety, Marketmore, outdoor cucumbers, prickly, they're a good one to grow because you simply put them in and let them trail all over the show. And you can grow them up canes, but you don't need to. And in the climate here, they grow very well outside. So certainly if you want to get into cucumbers, variety Marketmore, outdoor cucumbers, I would recommend. And what I'm going to do is start to put them in. So my runner beans are going to grow up the canes, which I'm going to put there. And what I'm going to do, now I'm not being too specific, really. This is not a straight line garden. This is not a show garden. What this is, or will be, is a productive garden. And that's the entire point of this sort of thing. So I'm going to get them out. And I mean, these crop prolifically, they really do. Can't recommend them highly enough. I think last year I had about 10 plants, and golly, I had loads of cucumbers. I was eating them every evening, well, during the day as well. They're lovely. So I'm going to put them relatively close together. Now, it's generally not advised to put them too close together, but me being me, I have my own methods of doing things, and that's what I'm going to do. In fact, what I'm going to do is start right over here. And if they trail onto the grass, then so be it. I'm not bothered. As I stated, you can grow these up canes. You can, as they grow vertically, or as they grow, sorry, you can vertically grow them up canes if you want, and I may even do that. But at the moment, the priority for me is getting the plants in. In fact, it could be quite intriguing actually if I did grow them up canes, couldn't it? Because it could be like a how to grow things vertically and get massive crops in a small space. You know, all these potentials, that one thinks of when they're working. That one doesn't look great, but we'll put him in anyway. We won't worry. We'll give him a chance. Grass all composting in there, all going to release its nutrients. Brilliant. So that's what we've got there. Now what we're going to do is think of something to put along the front. So let's go back into polytunnel and have a look. Now what I'm going to do here is actually is a very good idea if I say so myself. I'm going to put some kale plants in. Now, kale is a great thing to grow. I forget the name of this variety. I've grown these from seed as well. Did I write it on the tag? I left the tag there. Here we go. On this one, it is Bates Blue Curled, I believe, which I've grown in previous years. So, going to put them in. I had kale in the other bed last year, and for clubroot, to prevent getting clubroot, you don't want to grow brassicas in the same place year after year. You want to rotate your crops, so you want to look into that. Mosquitoes. So I'm going to put them in this bed this year. So let's go out and plant those. Okay, so I've got some cloches here. And what I'm going to do is set my brassicas. Now these are quite large cloches, but once again doesn't matter because they're what I have, and they're going to cover the cucumbers a little bit, but that's not such a problem because these will start And you could eat these like this if you wanted. Of course you wouldn't want to, it'd be pointless. But these will crop well into next year. I think I was eating kale that I planted last year right up until March, April this year, so they will crop for a long period. And when these have long finished cropping, all the frost has killed them, the cucumbers and the runner beans, these will remain in the beds. So I'm going to plant these in here now. Using my trusty trowel. Now it's very important when you're growing brassicas that you protect them, because you're not the only one who wants them, trust me. At this stage, birds absolutely love them. I mean, pigeons will decimate them, and who can blame them really? So you protect them at the moment, and later in the year you will have cabbage white butterflies, which seriously will decimate your entire crop. They'll lay eggs on the leaves, and the eggs will hatch, and the caterpillars will just munch and completely trash your crop. So be very careful indeed. Nice root structures on these. I mean, the plants look a little bit spindly, probably because they've been in the polytunnel, but it doesn't matter. They'll thicken up in time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grow them amongst the cucumbers and the runner beans. So you can see just how small this patch is, but just how productive it's going to be. Close proximity. Bit of friendship planting going on, shall we say. Not the best specimen in the world, but again, we'll give him a chance. And we've got some more kale here. Now, another good thing about kale is it's frost resistant. It can certainly withstand the weather here. I mean, it went really cold early part of the year for the UK, or no, it wasn't that early. It was March, April time, -8 or something like that, and the kale came up smiling. So, you know, if you live in a cold climate, of course, if you live in an incredibly cold climate, you'll have to do some research on what's suitable. But certainly for the UK, kale is a great thing to grow, and I find it one of the most productive brassicas and the least trouble brassicas. You know, with Brussels sprouts, they can blow, things like that. When I say blow, I mean, you know, they don't form a sprout. The leaves just scatter all over the show. And one good thing about, the best thing in my opinion about kale is it's perpetual, in the sense of you keep picking it and the leaves keep coming and you can keep eating them and using them for whatever dish floats your boat. That's the kale. So we're looking in Dan's box of tricks. Let's see what we can put in. Yeah. Shall I? Nah, I won't do that. Put that somewhere else. I'm going to put some more kale in. Got to check that I've of course got enough cloche room to protect them. I'm not wasting my time growing them and then they get destroyed by pigeons or cabbage butterflies. So we put that one there, and let's see if we've got any more. Where's the cloche? It's there. Right, so what we've got here is Perpetual Spinach leaf beet. I mean, I chose to grow them in pots here. Snail. Goodbye. I chose to grow them in the pots here, but you can straight sow these, meaning you can put them in the ground at the right time of year, and it's very likely that they will germinate. Nice root ball on there. So I'm going to get these out. It's at this time of year when you're setting out that you're really glad that you grew things, because you sort of give yourself options on what to set out. And spinach, perpetual spinach, is a great one because, as it states in the name, it's perpetual, meaning it will continue to crop. You keep picking it, and it's frost resistant as well. So if you want a frost resistant vegetable, spinach is a good one. And in my experience, it lends itself well to growing in pots. So definitely a good one to grow is spinach. And if you believe in it strongly enough, it might make you like Popeye. Who knows, eh? And I can afford to interweave, even if I interweave a bit with the cucumber plants, it doesn't matter, because these will be here long after the cucumbers have gone. So this can be a way of, ensuring that you've got crops ready throughout the year. So I'm quite happy with my spinach being like that. So in this bay we have got runner beans, and that was Scarlet Emperor. We've got Bates Blue Curled Kale. We've got cucumbers, variety Marketmore, and Perpetual Spinach leaf beet. So quite a variety in a very small area. So keep viewing the channel and you should see how productive this very small little vegetable garden will be. So everything's coming on very well, as you can see, and planning on what I'm putting out. The Tithonias are starting to bulk out now. Really, I put these in a bit late, but they were an afterthought, and these are a fantastic thing to grow, and they can get huge, well in excess of 6 or 7 feet high in a growing season. I might even consider overwintering one in the polytunnel to see what happens. But regarding future plans, now, as you know, I have an orange tree here. This is blood orange, and it's looking healthy, not expecting it to do much. It's got a few little oranges on it, very small obviously at the moment, but I'm hoping that there will be oranges on it one day. But I'm thinking of building like an exotic polytunnel, if you will, an exotic sort of setup in here. Go away, flies. So I need some ideas. Now, I've been looking about at things to get, and obviously I've had one before in some of my older videos. You've probably seen it, banana plant. But I'd like to actually, I'd consider getting a banana plant, and I have found I think it's Victoriana Nursery. It sells mango trees. Now, I know it's highly unlikely that you'll get any mangoes in this country, certainly not in an environment like this, which is not thought of, it's not directly simulating a tropical environment, which is what it needs. So, but it could be a curiosity nonetheless. So if anyone has got any ideas that they would like to suggest to me about exotic plants or whatever, please let me know, because that is the plan, or a plan, and I'm quite looking forward to doing that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like my work, please feel free to like, share and subscribe, and hopefully the growing season will be a good one. Take care, and we will speak next time.